All right. Hopefully my microphone's working. Again, I'm not seeing myself because, again, this is more of a tutorial, not anything else. And let me readjust my phone here. Because I'm going to power that down because I don't want that coming in through the video feed. All right, let's transform over here. All right, so we should all be looking at, I guess, a screen of my Photoshop. I've already kind of pre-picked out a picture, but we're going to start from camera raw, so we're going to open it up. So here we have a picture of Bianca. So we are going to, first thing we always do is grab the straightener tool, and I run it along my little panel here so I know it's straight. You can see that I have crap over here on one side, some crap over here on the other side, which is fine. I don't have to worry about that. Because we will drop this up here, bring this over, kind of get it to where I want it. So that's good enough. Now, a person came in and talked about color. When using a Canon camera, it actually throws it into an orange kind of thing going on. So let me shut that out. And so when we shouldn't be on zoom, so sorry about that. Fit to screen. Down here in my vibrancy, I already have my custom settings already set up, where it's already set to -6, -3 saturation on the vibrancy and the saturation. That's my automatic default because, again, I already know the Canon camera already throws into a certain color. So I already switched that. Now my color balance is always done by using the X-Rite color checker. So the profile from that comes from my color temperatures and everything comes right up here through that color checker profile. That's why it says custom over here in this top section. Also here in our camera settings, you can come in here and adjust because there is not really an orange setting type of thing for the Canon cameras. So you can actually readjust and slide these two sliders, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on the preset I'm using. You can see I said this is Bianca. This says someone else's name right here in my color profile. But that color profile is for the studio. That's the same color profile for every single time I shoot in the studio, the garage studio. Next thing I do, of course, is I come in here and I click these two buttons here, and so it adjusts to my lens, and the gets rid of the what do you want to call it? The fringe, basically the fringing that comes into play, and always set mine to about 2 and 1, and so that way I get rid of the fringing out of my images, because all lenses kind of give you that fringing on all of it. Okay, I know it's kind of boring. This is the camera raw. So basically I come in here and I look at my image and I see I want everything more white back here, just a little bit. So I'm going to readjust this. I want this to be really white around this area. The rest of it I'm not worried about. It's just around the hair area is basically where I want my white. I'll bring up my shadows just a little bit, and I'll pull out just a little bit of black. Again, it's always to person's preference of how they want that done. That's what I basically do. If I see something that I need some highlights fixed a little bit, I might adjust my highlights just a little bit, but we're just going to call this good. So now we're in Photoshop. Let me just minimize this real quick. So I always make a duplicate of my image. So I just drag it, pull it down to make a new copy of it. And basically from here, I just grab me a soft brush, alt click here, and I just brush this out. That's how easy that is. It's not, it doesn't take a rock scientist to do this. And we're just gonna pop around here, and we're gonna come in with my history brush, and I'm gonna kind of pop it off that shoe because I went a little bit too far. And come over here to this side, and you can drag it out if you have a lot more room. This is an old picture, so basically before I got the ceiling mounts, I had stands on the floor, but now I don't have stands on the floor, so everything's ceiling mount. And we just come around here a little bit. We don't have to be perfect because I'll show you how I fix that later on in Photoshop. Oops. And I'm gonna drop my flow here. Close enough. All right. So now we got a pretty much perfectly white background. And we'll come in here and we'll just go grab my selector tool. Now this is for white backgrounds. Again, it's always going to be a little bit different on things. But I'm going to go in here and just grab all this. And you don't have to be perfect. Just got to be kind of close. Whoops. Undo. And that's odd that it went over there, but that's okay because we can come back in here. Make sure it's on black. I'm going to grab a brush that's a hard brush, and I'm just going to paint in this little section here. Dun, dun, dun. All right. And sometimes your brush is going to be kind of funky. And you'll see these little spots here where it's all wobbly. You just readjust it to where it's nice and smooth so you don't get all these wobbly spots in your brush. And switch this to white and just come in here. And of course the ground's not perfect either, so but that's okay. We'll get all that kind of close when we start doing some more work. Okay, I'm going to grab my selector tool again. Make sure I get the spots I didn't get. Zoom in a little bit. We got some spots here. Holding down the shift key to make sure I get that spot. Shift key there. All right. Pretty much close enough for what I'm going to be doing here, because basically this is to get rid of some of the spots on the ground here. So go closer. Hopefully people are still hanging in there. I know this is kind of boring right off the bat. Okay, grab my brush, make it smaller. Hit the X button, switch it back from white to default black. And really, I don't really need to do this at all on this little black spot because it will not affect what I'm going to be doing here in a second. So it just has to be close. Don't have to be perfect. All right, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to hit the level button. Now that's going to throw a mask over here on my right hand side and my levels. I'm going to hit levels again. So this next levels does not have a mask or anything. I take this middle slider, I pull it over, and that shows me all this spot that's not white. I go to the one down below it, I click on it, and I click on, let's see, the most darkest spot. And it's going to be, I guess, pretty much there. And basically, I just readjusted all the whites to be pretty much pure white. And therefore, now I don't have any funky shadows on the ground. Well, I have shadows, but they're just not as dominant as what they were. And again, I can come in here and I can click it and I can feather it just a little bit. And 1.7 is usually somewhere where I want to be, and I want to contract it just a little bit. Good enough. There, close enough. Done. Now it's all pure white. So when I come back in here, it's white. Yes, I have some little spots down here, but that's what you want because those are your shadows. You don't want to make them look like they're floating off the ground. Is everyone with me so far? All right. So now from here, I just hit Control Alt Shift E, and I have a gaming keyboard, so I have actual command shortcuts in one button pushes on my on the keyboard, but those are the what you want to push to get to to merge them all together. So now I'm on a merge layer that these can be shut off. I don't even need those on anymore. So this is a layer by itself. Okay, so this levels layer, I can get rid of it. I don't need it anymore. All right, from here, I go in and I hit the black and white adjustment. I drop it down, the red's down. And this is the way I edit. I do everything from black and white because you can see everything in black and white. You can see the pox. These are called Chinese pox. Usually get them from tanning beds, stuff like that. They do make a cream for that to get rid of these. She does have psoriasis, so you'll see those spots stand out really prominent in black and white, where in color you can see them, but you can see them more in black and white. Now I go back to my merge layer and I come in here and I make a blank layer, and I grab my healing brush and I will come in here and do some quick healing. It's nothing major. So we just fix some of these little spots. And I go a little bigger here and go there. They don't have to be 100% perfect because guess what? You're not going to see it. So let's get rid of these spots here. And I consider that close enough. Over there, if I see, you really won't see any of these, but so I don't need to do anything major here. Okay, she has a scar there. We'll just move that scar like that. Get rid of it. Do this. Get rid of that hair. Come up here. Now we're into the face area. This goes real quick. So I take from different spots. You want to always take from different spots. You don't want to take from the same spot. And right now, it gets to this grid section. I hate this grid section. I wish they'd get rid of it. But you hit Control H, gets rid of the grid section, so you can actually zoom in. Get rid of that spot there. And I'm going to get rid of that spot right there. That one there. There. That's wasn't a defect in the skin. That was actually what they call glitter, I think it was. So you get rid of some of that glitter off there. One thing I don't like is the models wearing glitter because it shows up like pimples. It can be black or it can be white. And so I just don't like glitter. If you're doing a glamour shot of face or of the full face, basically, headshot, then the glitter's fine. But if you're doing full body shots, I just don't like the way it looks. So so that's basically it for the skin. That was pretty darn easy. So we take the black and white off. We take a look at it. I'm going to hit a merge layer again. I can flatten it. Don't make a difference. I'll just flatten it. And then hit my black and white layer back again. So now in here, I put up an action set. It's on the Cheetah Stand user group. It's in the file section. There's a little section on your left hand side. It says Cheetah Stand user group. It says closed group, discussion, members, events, videos, photos, files, groups, insights, and managed group. Well, in the file section, there is a action set, and it's basically what I call Sean's fixes. I always keep them on a thumb drive because when I go to any computer that has Photoshop, I can load my actions on any computer. So it doesn't make, I don't have to have my computer with me. I can use someone else's computer. And these are the actions that I use. Now, the actions that are in the Cheetah Stand user group is a lot less because you don't need a bunch of this, all this other stuff. So I just got rid of them because I really don't use them anymore, but I just leave them in my action set. Right here we have 50% gray. Now a lot of people use frequency separation. If you're using 16-bit or an 18-bit photo, that's what these two, there's two up here at the top. One says Skin Fix 8-bit, Skin Fix 16-bit. That's frequency separation. I do not use those anymore, but I always keep them there just in case someone, I want to use them, but I normally don't use them at all anymore. I go to the 50% gray layer, action, hit play. And basically it's just adding a layer with 50% gray and set to soft light. So I come in here, I grab my brush, I switch it to white, I drop my flow all the way down to 1%. And I grab a soft brush, and I come in here and I fix the spots that I think that needs to be fixed. Again, unless you're looking underneath a magnifier, or I mean, you're just pixel peeping, whatever you want to call it. You won't see half the stuff in a photo. So it's you don't need to do a lot of fixing unless it's for publication and you got these people that are going to be really looking at your pictures. Then that's when you need to do it. But a lot of more work, but you don't normally need to do much. So I'm just going to brighten up underneath here. Right there. And she has a birthmark on her neck, which I'm just going to leave that alone. And I'm going to come over here to this other side, drop my brush down. Again, I'm working at 1% flow. I'm not adjusting the opacity, I'm adjusting the flow. I used to do opacity, and then I found the flow works so much better, so I stopped doing and I'm going to darken this up just a little bit more. Whoops. Can't get really much darker than that. I'm just going to fix that little shadow spot all women have right there by the laugh line. I'm going to come in here. Now I switched it to black. I'm just going to darken in right there on the cheek. Simple and easy. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to roll with the curvature. So you want to roll. Switch it back to white. I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to whiten this up just a little bit to balance it a little bit more. And I'm going to come in here. Now we got to see we have a shadow line. So I'm going to just lighten that up just a little bit. And then I'm going to come down through here with the white just to blend it with this half. We're good. And I'm going to do, let's see, a couple streaks across the eyes with it. That's about it. Once that's done, I can hit flatten again. I normally save them as layers. Now I'm going to go into my liquify. Now, this little part of the arm bothers me right here, so I'm just going to bring it in. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in just a little bit here, and I'm going to pull up just a little bit there. Simple and easy. Nothing too spectacular. So if we go back to the history, you can just see the quick change. It's not much, but it can be a lot. And let me duplicate this. Duplicate. I'm going to duplicate image. It's flattened. Now I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go to history. I'm going to go to start. Now I'm going to take this picture from here. I'm going to bring it over here since I didn't save layers. So this is going to, I don't need that one. Okay. From start to finish, there it is. So let's get a close up on the face. That's pretty much how simple it is. Now there's a bright eye. I'll hit the action for it. I'll come in here and I'll say, oh, I want the eyes just a little bit brighter. Then basically you just click, well, I'm on 1%. Let's put that at 100. And then we'll come back with the black, come back in spots around the eye where I just missed because I was all sloppy. Shrink down my brush. Hit a black there, hit a black there. Now I'll change my opacity to bring it to where I want it. So that's pretty good. Now there's one that's called Dentist. This one here, you have to bring it up. But say if someone's a smoker and they have some yellow spots in their teeth, that just fixes it. Or if there's a color cast, like here, there's a color cast. It's kind of a reddish color from the lipstick. Basically, that just removes that color cast. And so it makes the teeth pure white. Simple, easy, done. Then after that's done, that's pretty much it. Don't really need to do anything else. Some people soften the skin. Some people do stuff like that. I'm saving at such a large file. When I upload it to Facebook or if I upload it to the internet, it blurs it automatically. So I don't really need to soften the skin. when I submit it to a place, if they want to do any extra editing, then I let them do it. Because basically they want to change it for their format anyway, most of the time. So, and I'm gonna see that little spot right there. I'm gonna just drop that in, and but that's pretty much it. So then what I do is I save it out, and what I do is normally I just flatten it, and I'll come over here to the crop tool, and this is set to 20 inches by 30 inches. I crop it. Then I use it's called Sharpener Pro 3. And I always throw this on when I upload it to the net, because then it makes it kind of funky. And so I have a presetting for large, and I just hit flatten, and I hit save, and it's done. So that's pretty much my editing. Now, if I was going to sometimes I'll come in and I will add a little bit more contrast if it's not what I wanted in the first place. Pop in a little more light. Make it a little more poppy. And that's it. There you go. I know my editing is not as fancy as some other people. But that's pretty much all I do, and then I save it out. Like I said, I just go and save as. Go in here and hit JPEG and hit save. But the coloring for skin, again, is basically done through the camera raw. If you're using X-Rite Color Checker Passport, that's going to get you the skin tone colors that you want, and that's the profile that you are going to load. So when you come over here to camera profile, I mean, you can change it to different ones, and so let's say if we were using Adobe Standard, it changes the skin to a certain color. That's not what I like. I mean, I use the Color Checker Passport, so, and it's got the right color tones. Again, I find that the saturation's always too saturated, so my presets that I preset up in my thing, because it actually allows you to save settings, and so mine is always preset to -6, -3. So hit cancel. And again, if it's too saturated, you think, in your photo, you just hit color saturation, go to red, drop it down 10, 9, somewhere in there, and you're good to go. That'll drop out that or your skin colors and make a more color tone. And let's see, it's almost too much, and you can always back it off a little bit. And that's still too much. Actually, I just like the way it was before. So there you go. Any questions? I know there's a delay, so I'll wait a few minutes on. Let's see if any messages pop up here for any questions. No questions. So I can hit close out of that. Let's open the camera raw again. just crop into just right in here. Just hood open. All right. So again, since I don't have to, I don't have the ground to worry about on white background. We're not going to go with the with that selection thing again. So basically, I'm going to come in here. I can come in here, readjust, and you've seen I already made a backup copy or another copy. The reason why is because it's always good to work on a separate layer. And I'm going to bring that in. I'll just pull that up just a little bit. Good enough. So from here, I can add my 50% gray layer if I wanted it right off the bat. Then I can come up to my black and white. And again, I always edit in black and white. And I can put a layer under here. Now this is almost like color separation. I mean frequency separation, because you're working on two different layers for your dodge and burn and stuff like that. But again, I just don't think I need the. It's not that I don't like it. This is just simple. You don't have to remember nothing. Again, you can always set it in an action, but basically just come in here and fix some spots on my separate layer. So basically I can shut this off and turn it on. It's non-destructive, so therefore I'm not destroying anything at all. And I'm just moving real quick here, because normally it's a lot quicker when you're not talking and trying to explain something. And if I want to, I can come in here and fix some of those, well, they call Chinese pox, I guess that's what they call them at the doctor's office. And again, it's from being exposed to someone that has what they call Chinese pox. And you can buy or go to the doctor and they'll give you this lotion stuff and it'll get rid of it. And you get those Chinese pox from tanning beds most of the time, because it's something in the skin of someone, I don't know. And it deals, I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor, so. It's just when you take, when you own a tanning bed and you're using it for commercial use, you have to take that stupid tanning bed course, and that was part of the tanning bed course, so there you go. The only reason why I know. Okay. So again, the black and white, so that's done. You can just see how quick that easy that was. Now go into the gray layer. We take our brush, put it at 1% flow on a nice soft brush, and we just fix that. And I went a little too much there. Right. Size it up. Again, I'm not even using the Wacom tablet. I'm using a mouse, just to show how easy it is. You don't need a Wacom tablet. And no wonder I'm painting on the wrong layer. That usually helps when you're painting on the gray layer. It's like, why is it getting so white? But you're painting on I was painting on the skin layer, the fix layer. So I'm gonna fix this, fix that spot right there, because everyone gets those. Doesn't make a difference who you are. And I'm just gonna brighten that up just a little bit. Brighten it up just a little bit there. And see, we have a spot right here, so we can just fix that real quick. Fix that right there. I know, you guys are going, well, this is boring. This ain't nothing spectacular that I don't already know. Again, I'll just go to the black, right there underneath the cheek. Run it around the curve. I don't like this being a little darker. So I just come in here with my white on my gray layer. Brighten that up just a little bit. Don't like it right there. Come in with my black. Come in with my white. Right down the arm. Come down here. The shadows, this usually like here is where it gets blocked by some body parts blocking the light. We'll just add a curvature line there. Let's see, we'll add one right there, one here. And come in here with some white. Just right there. Now we just added stomach definition. Merge all layers. Excuse me. And this is before, after. Again, the basic actions I use over here, like I said, if I'm adding a background, that's what the noise is for. This noise is for Canon 5D Mark III, Mark IV. It doesn't make a difference which one it is, but the noise action is you have to match the background noise if you're changing out the background to match the photo. And the noise setting that I have here is equal to the two different, the background and the subject. So therefore, because if it's a completely smooth background, if you blurt it out, it's not going to look realistic if it doesn't have any noise in it, because your subject has noise in it. So that's what that noise button is for. Again, bright eyes. We come in here, change my opacity to 100, brighten that up, come in with my black, brush that out, my overbrush. Little dot right there in the eye, right there. And then drop my opacity, because you don't want to over brighten the eye. Now, dentist, there's a full dentist. It does a lot more. Again, I don't normally use that if I'm going to just brighten up the teeth. Again, Control H to get rid of the hatch pattern. But there is a color cast right there from the lipstick. It actually produces a color cast. We just come across there. Gets rid of that color cast and changes it to pure white. So now the teeth are 100. The teeth are white anyway, but there's a color cast from the lips coming up and putting a red spot across the top. Let's see. Eye pop. Eye pop is an action for. We'll just run it. For natural light pictures, this eye pop works really well, because I mean it will make the eyes really, really pop. But you want to watch out for how much you use of that, because it really darkens up the black. So kind of fade that out. But it's more for natural light pictures or glamour shot pictures. Not really like this, because there's not a lot of light in these eyes compared to a beauty shot or something like that. But that's what the eye popper's for, is to really pronounce or really dominate the iris and make them look really, really good. Rocket, I don't think that's in yours, but it was a action I used to use. So let me hit duplicate, because I don't know if it's in there or not. So I'm going to hit flatten. And then I'm going to use the rocket. And basically what this does is it pulls the grays out of the image and puts it to black. So it just makes it more contrasty. So that's all that does. It's nothing spectacular, so I don't think I even use that anymore in the, or it's even in the thing. Again, if you want more contrast, just pull your blacks up, pull over this, and we're done. Simple and easy. Now, do we have any questions? Because I've been waiting for someone to ask a question, but I don't see any questions. We can flatten this out. We can hit sharp. And basically let's see, that's not what we want to do. Let's go back to non-flatten the image. Make a duplicate. That's right. Then hit sharp. And that makes the image sharp. Just kind of like using the Sharpen Pro 3. It does pretty much the exact same thing. You don't have to have that software. It just makes it more poppy. And you can adjust it. Simple and easy. What was the setting for the 50% gray layer for the dodge and burn? Well, it's soft light. So basically, if you download the action over on the side and it says files, basically you're just making a new layer. Again, I don't remember, even since I use the actions, I don't even remember how to do it. New layer. Fill it with 50% color, 50% gray. I think that's it. No, that just makes it gray. Nope. I always thought there was a thing where you can adjust it to 50% gray in here, but I guess not. Oh, non-neutral gray exists normal mode. Well, that's checked out. I don't know why. Whatever. I just hit this button, 50% gray, and makes a 50% gray layer and sets it to soft light. So that's why I have the action set over on the Cheetah Stand user group. Again, 50% gray. This one here is black layer. This black layer, it shows nothing in the picture. So if I shut all this off, turn it on, it shows it there, but when the image is up, it disappears. And this is what you do if you want to add some kind of lighting effect. That's what I use the black layer for. It's for lighting. Anything that's white, because it'll, or bright colored, it pronounces it, and you can see it. So if I'm doing a solar flare or something like that, I would use it on a 50%, or I mean the black layer, not the gray layer, or a separate layer. I always do it on black. So that's what that one's for. Lighting. Like I said, half of these I don't use anymore. Again, basically it's the 50% gray layer, the noise, the eye doctor, the dentist. Those should be in those things. The rest of the stuff, again, I just don't use. What's dodge and burn? What's that one do? Oh, that's with layers. Yeah, I don't even do that one anymore. It's basically just 50% gray layer, and I just paint on it. So that one can go delete. That one can get deleted. So hopefully that answers all your questions. Maybe I'll make a different video that I just go through and just start editing. But again, I don't do anything special. There's nothing. People say, well, do you soften skin? Well, no, I don't really need to soften skin. If you dodge it and burn it right, and you do the healing brush, basically, you don't have to do a lot of healing brush. But if you do the healing brush on certain spots, you don't need to soften the skin. You don't need to do any of that stuff, because the web actually automatically does it because it compresses the files anyway. So a lot of people say, well, what do you use to soften your skin? I don't. I just upload it. The skin gets softened when it uploads into a JPEG on the internet. That's just the compression. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to head out. Everyone have a lovely day. Again, I'll probably make another video where I'm not talking through it like I am here, and just do one so everyone can see how it goes. All right. So everyone have a lovely day, and thank you for watching.